During our Sunday dinner, my son-in-law Bradley raised his glass of expensive wine I'd brought to celebrate his promotion. "What's it like being old and useless?" he asked loudly, smirking. The table erupted in awkward laughter. Everyone except me. I just smiled and replied calmly, "How does it feel knowing this old lady won't be paying for your fancy life anymore?" His face went pale instantly. The dinner table transformed into a battlefield of silence. If you're enjoying my story so far, please hit that like button and subscribe to Granny Stories for more family drama with powerful lessons. My name is Margaret. Bradley is married to my daughter Olivia, and for 12 years, I've been their silent financial foundation. A fact Bradley conveniently forgets when boasting about his success. "Getting older must be boring," Bradley continued, twirling the wine. "No job, nothing important to do." I placed my fork down carefully. The roast beef on my plate, served on dinnerware I helped Olivia purchase, was growing cold. "It has good parts and bad parts," I replied, watching him drink more of my congratulatory gift. Bradley leaned back in his chair at the head of my table, where he now insists on sitting during family dinners. "You did okay as a nurse back then, but that was 30 years ago. Everything's different now. You need a young brain to really succeed." Olivia shifted uncomfortably. The silver bracelet I'd given her caught the candlelight. "Mom had a wonderful career," she murmured. Sure, Bradley waved dismissively. "But when was the last time you actually accomplished something? Built something real?" My 8-year-old grandson, Ethan, looked up from his food. "Grandma helped me build an awesome fort last month." "Where are you watching from today? Let me know in the comments below." "That's sweet." Bradley patted Ethan's head condescendingly. "But Grandma needs to understand that real adults take care of their families by working hard." The silence grew uncomfortable. Olivia attempted a laugh that sounded hollow. "Maybe we should talk about something else? Lily, tell Grandma about your art class." But Bradley wasn't finished. The wine and his new promotion had inflated his ego beyond reason. "Now that I'm making real money," he gestured grandly, "maybe it's time everyone started pulling their weight around here." I knew precisely what he meant. For 12 years, I'd quietly funded their mortgage, car payments, private schools, and medical bills. 12 years of silent assistance while watching Bradley spend extravagantly. "Take Olivia," he continued, pointing at my daughter. "She's been at home with the kids for years, living off of, well, let's call it family help. Maybe it's time she got a real job." Olivia's face flushed. We both knew their entire lifestyle. The premium school uniforms by the door, Bradley's luxury car, their magazine-worthy kitchen, existed because of my generosity. 10-year-old Lily sensed the tension. "Are we in trouble, Daddy?" "No, sweetheart. But it's important to know the difference between people who work for their money and people who just gave up trying." He looked directly at me. If this reminds you of someone in your life, tap that subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you never miss my stories. The insult hung in the air. Olivia reached for her wine with trembling hands. The children exchanged worried glances. Bradley leaned forward. "I don't want to be mean, Margaret, but someone needs to ask. When was the last time you did something that mattered? When did you last feel proud about earning your own way instead of just existing?" He paused dramatically. "How does it feel to be such a failure?" Olivia gasped. Ethan dropped his fork with a clatter. Lily began crying softly. I took a slow sip of water, placed the glass down carefully, and met his gaze directly. "How does it feel?" I said clearly. "To know this failure won't be paying your bills anymore?" The color drained from Bradley's face. Olivia's hand flew to her mouth. The children stared wide-eyed as their father's smug smile evaporated. I continued eating, cutting each piece methodically while everyone sat in stunned silence. Outside, Mrs. Peterson's dog barked in the distance. After what felt like eternity, I wiped my mouth, stood, and kissed my grandchildren goodbye. Thank you for dinner, Olivia. It was delicious. I collected my coat and stepped into the cool evening air, leaving behind a family finally beginning to understand what 12 years of silent generosity had meant. If you're enjoying my story of justice, give this video a thumbs up and tell me what you would have done in my situation. The drive home was quiet. Inside my house, I went straight to my office, which smelled of old books and furniture polish. I switched on my brass lamp, illuminating 12 years of meticulously organized files. As a former nurse, I documented everything. Every receipt, statement, and check. Time to calculate exactly what my failure had cost. I opened the first drawer labeled 2012 to 2015. Blue folders for mortgage assistance, green for car loans, yellow for education expenses, red for medical bills. My husband Richard had died in late 2011. By January 2012, Olivia was already struggling financially. The first mortgage payment, $2,200 in February, then again in March, and every month after. I spread the papers across my desk. $2,200 monthly for 144 months. My calculator showed $316,800 just for housing assistance. Car payments followed. Bradley's luxury vehicle lease, Olivia's family van. $850 monthly for 10 years, $102,000. Private school tuition filled an entire drawer. Ethan from preschool through second grade. Lily from toddler classes through fourth. Elite schools with extensive amenities. $18,000 annually plus summer programs. 12 years, $288,000. Are you keeping track of these numbers? They're shocking. Subscribe to Granny Stories for more of my eye-opening family tales. Medical expenses when Bradley was between jobs, dental care, emergency visits, Olivia's therapy. $6,000 yearly for 12 years, $72,000. I discovered vacation receipts hidden among insurance documents. Disney World, European cruises, ski trips, Christmas extravagances, kitchen renovations, another $55,000. The final tally, $833,800, nearly $1 million. For the first time since Richard's funeral, I felt the weight of the promise I'd made at his hospital bedside. Don't worry about Olivia. I'll make sure she's safe and has everything she needs. I remembered Olivia's tears at the funeral, her fear about the mortgage they couldn't afford alone, her initial gratitude. Weekly thank you calls, homemade cookies, Sunday visits with the grandchildren. When had the gratitude stopped? When had my help transformed from a gift into an expectation? I examined my own financial statements, what I'd sacrificed for them, my diminished savings, the modest two-bedroom house instead of my dream lakeside property, my aging truck while Bradley drove luxury vehicles, the travel magazines I collected but never used, abandoned hobbies, declined social invitations because Olivia always needed something important. I'd given them nearly $1 million and 12 years of my own dreams. At 11 p.m., I reached for my phone and list of bank contacts. Tomorrow would bring interesting conversations with payment services. If you've ever had to teach someone a hard lesson about gratitude, give this video a thumbs up and remember to subscribe to Granny Stories for more of my wisdom. Sunday morning, my coffee tasted different, stronger somehow. I watched birds quarrel over breadcrumbs outside my window before returning to my office where neat stacks of papers awaited. First National Bank answered after 3 rings. Account services, this is Jennifer. How can I help you today? I need to cancel automatic payments from checking account 7843-215-6789. I said in the steady voice I'd used during my nursing career. The entire process took 15 minutes. Jennifer was professional and had no idea she was dismantling 12 years of financial support with each keystroke. Those payments are now stopped, Mrs. Wilson. Is there anything else I can help with today? That's everything. Thank you. I checked off mortgage assistance on my list. Colorado Mountain Insurance required supervisor approval. The luxury car lease cancellation needed conversations with 3 different representatives. Each call followed the same pattern. Identity verification, computer work, confirmation numbers carefully recorded in my notebook. By 12:30 p.m., I'd crossed off 10 items. At 12:45, Olivia called. Mom. Her voice sounded confused but not yet panicked. Something weird happened with our mortgage payment. The bank says there wasn't enough money in the account. Because you thought I'd keep paying forever, I finished her sentence. Silence stretched between us like a taut rubber band. What do you mean? Her voice rose an octave. Exactly what I said last night. I'm not paying your bills anymore. Share this video with someone who needs to learn about setting boundaries. And don't forget to subscribe to hear more of my stories. But Mom, you can't just the mortgage, the insurance, Ethan's school. Everything stops as of this morning. This isn't funny. We'll lose our house. Then you'll need to figure out how to pay for it yourselves. The line went quiet with a click. My notebook showed 8 more calls to make. The electric company was surprisingly efficient. Little Mountain Academy's financial office asked fewer questions than anticipated. Each confirmation number entered my book with methodical precision. Olivia called back at 1:45, her voice tight with genuine fear. Mom, please, I don't understand what's happening. The school called, the insurance company called, even the electric company called. I canceled all the automatic transfers from my accounts. Your accounts? The question emerged as a whisper. Did you think these payments appeared by magic, Olivia? Another long silence. But we never asked you to pay for everything. You never asked because you never had to. I just did it automatically. We can't afford, she stopped herself. Sweetie, that's exactly the point. At 1:50, my phone rang again. This time, Bradley's voice came through, attempting to sound authoritative. Margaret, whatever silly game you're playing needs to stop right now. No game, just reality. Are you Team Margaret or Team Bradley? Tell me in the comments below. And if you're enjoying this justice, hit that like button. You can't destroy our family because your feelings got hurt at dinner. I'm not destroying anything. I'm just stopping my financial support. You wanted to know how it feels to be a failure? Well, now you can find out by figuring out your own bills. His silence lasted even longer than Olivia's had. My final call was to my financial advisor to discuss redirecting those monthly payments into my neglected retirement account. Outside, birds continued fighting over crumbs. At 2:30, I heard Bradley's luxury car pull into my driveway. Through my window, I watched him slam the door and march toward my house with Olivia following, clutching her purse like a lifeline. I opened the door before they could knock. We need to talk. Bradley pushed past me without waiting for an invitation. Olivia followed with puffy, tear-stained eyes. Please come in, I said to their backs, though they were already inside. Bradley stood in my living room like a general preparing for battle. This ridiculous tantrum ends now. You will call those banks immediately and reinstate every payment. No, I won't. His face reddened. You can't just cut us off without warning. There are legal issues, verbal contracts. Show me the contract where I agreed to pay your bills until the end of time. Have you ever had to stand your ground like I did? Double tap that like button and subscribe for more of my empowering stories. Olivia stepped forward, voice trembling. Mom, please think about what Dad would want. Remember what you promised at his funeral. The mention of Richard struck like a cold wind, but I was prepared. I promised to help you get stable and secure. 12 years and almost $1 million later. You're less stable than when we started. 1 million? Olivia whispered, barely audible. I retrieved my calculator and notebook. $833,800. Mortgage assistance, car payments, insurance, tuition, medical bills, vacations, emergencies. Should I itemize each category? Bradley's confident facade cracked momentarily before he recovered. That's impossible. We never asked for that much. You never asked for anything. You just expected it automatically. Olivia collapsed onto my couch, face ashen. But what about the children? Ethan's baseball, Lily's dance classes. Those will continue, but I'll pay the schools and activities directly. No more money flowing through you and Bradley. You can't divide the family like that. Bradley snapped. We're supposed to be a team. Teams require mutual respect. When was the last time either of you expressed gratitude for anything? The question hung unanswered. If you've ever felt taken for granted, my story is for you. Hit subscribe and the notification bell to join our Granny Stories family. Olivia's tears began slowly, then built to desperate sobs reminiscent of her teenage heartbreaks. I didn't know it was so much money. I thought you wanted to help us. I thought it made you happy. It did. Until you stopped being grateful and started demanding it. Bradley paced like a caged animal. Fine, you want gratitude? Thank you. Now reinstate the payments. Gratitude doesn't work retroactively, Bradley. He stopped pacing, genuine worry replacing his anger for the first time. What exactly do you want from us? I want you to learn to live within your means. I want my grandchildren to see their parents working for what they have instead of expecting handouts. I want to be treated like a mother and grandmother, not an ATM. Olivia looked up through tears. What if we can't do it? What if we lose everything? Then you'll learn what failure actually feels like. Bradley straightened his shoulders, attempting to reclaim his business confidence. We'll see about this. There are lawyers who help when elderly people get taken advantage of financially. I smiled at that. Please call them. I'd love to explain how I've been financially exploited for 12 years straight. They left without another word. Bradley's car roared away too quickly. I stood at my window watching them disappear down the street and noticed my hands trembling. Stay tuned for what happens next. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss the conclusion of my powerful story. Complete silence filled my house. I collapsed into the leather chair Richard had given me for our 15th anniversary and stared at our wedding photo on the mantel. Olivia's radiant smile, Bradley in his humble polka dot tie, Richard's proud expression beside mine, all from 2010. Bradley had worked at a small insurance office then, drove a 12-year-old Honda, and addressed me as ma'am with genuine respect. Mrs. Wilson, he'd said during our first private conversation, I want you to know I'll take good care of Olivia. I might not have much now, but I'm working hard to build something worthy of your daughter. The humility in his voice had seemed authentic. I believed him completely. 3 years later, Richard was gone. Cancer took him in 5 brutal months, leaving Olivia completely heartbroken and Bradley struggling to meet their modest mortgage payments on his entry-level salary. At Richard's funeral, Olivia had collapsed against me, sobbing. Mom, I don't know how we'll manage. Bradley's job isn't secure. The payments are too much. Don't worry, sweetie, I'd whispered, holding my grieving daughter. I'll help until you both get stable. Until you get stable, not indefinitely. If you know someone who needs to hear my story, share this video with them right now. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Those first years, Bradley's gratitude had been overwhelming. Handwritten thank you cards, weekend visits where he'd repair my fence or mow my lawn. Olivia called twice weekly to check on me, bringing the grandchildren for Sunday dinners. Mom, you're literally saving our lives, she'd say tearfully. We'll repay you when things improve. The first mortgage assistance, $2,200 monthly, just for 8 months until I get promoted. The car loan help, $350 monthly, just until we build some savings. Ethan's private school, $1,500 monthly, just for kindergarten to give him a strong start. Each just until became permanent and expected. Each temporary assistance transformed into an entitlement. By 2015, the thank you notes had ceased. Bradley's weekend visits became occasional instances where he'd consume my refreshments and complain about his boss. Olivia's grateful calls evolved into monthly requests for additional support. Mom, Can you pay for Lily's art classes? It's only $150 monthly. Mom, the kids need new tablets for school. Mom, our vacation rental was canceled. Can you help find another option? Please disappeared first, then thank you. Finally, even can you became you need to. By 2020, Bradley had stopped acknowledging my assistance entirely. At neighborhood gatherings, he'd boast about home improvements, the children's prestigious education, his successful lifestyle. When neighbors complimented his luxury car, he'd smile proudly about his smart financial planning. Olivia began defending him rather than me. When I gently suggested they attempt managing some bills independently, she'd become irritated. Mom, you don't understand modern family dynamics. Bradley faces enormous pressure at work. The children have established routines. You can't disrupt everything because you're feeling unappreciated. Unappreciated. The word had struck like a physical blow. Does my story sound familiar? If you've ever felt taken for granted, hit that like button and subscribe to Granny Stories for more relatable content. Last Christmas, neither mentioned my support. Bradley delivered a speech about his hard work, providing for the family. Olivia posted photos of expensive gifts on social media with captions about blessed family success. I sat in my modest living room reviewing their old thank you cards from 2012, wondering when gratitude had transformed into entitlement. For days passed like dominoes falling in slow motion. Monday morning brought the first bank notices. Olivia called at 10:15, her voice thin and frightened. Mom, they're saying our mortgage payment failed. There's an $85 penalty fee. The bank wants $2,285 by Wednesday, or they'll initiate foreclosure. I remained silent until she disconnected. By lunchtime, Bradley's luxury car lease company had left 3 urgent voicemails about their missed $750 payment. Olivia's family van loan, another $420 monthly, returned with a $60 penalty. Their homeowner's insurance was canceled at 4 p.m. when the automatic payment failed. Tuesday brought deeper troubles. Olivia called again, Bradley shouting in the background. We can't manage everything, her voice cracked. I've applied at McDonald's, Walmart, and 4 restaurants. Even if hired immediately, they're only offering $11 hourly. That's barely $1,800 monthly before taxes. For the first time in 12 years, she was calculating survival mathematics. What would you do in my situation? Let me know in the comments. And if you're enjoying my story, please hit that like button. Wednesday afternoon, I drove past Little Mountain Academy during dismissal. Ethan and Lily stood among children whose tuition had been paid on time. The school had contacted Olivia that morning demanding $3,600 immediately, or the children would be removed by Friday. That evening, my neighbor Mrs. Garcia mentioned overhearing raised voices from Olivia's house during her walk. Sounds like financial difficulties, she observed sadly. The young man was shouting something about credit cards being maxed out. Thursday brought the major crisis. Olivia's 4th call came at 3:45 p.m. Mom, please. I attended 6 job interviews yesterday. Burger King, a cleaning service, 2 grocery stores. They all request references from recent employment. I haven't worked since 2012. Her voice had lost its demanding quality, replaced by something I hadn't heard in years, humility. Bradley tried paying the mortgage yesterday. Our account contains $2,400. The payment is $2,285. He paid it, then realized we couldn't afford groceries, utilities, or gas. He had to cancel the transaction. I remained silent. The car lease company has scheduled repossession for Monday unless we pay $750 plus a $250 reinstatement fee. More silence from me. Mom, her voice became tiny. I think we're going to lose everything. Yes, I said quietly. You probably will. She began sobbing then, deep, painful cries reminiscent of her adolescent heartbreaks. But this wasn't teenage drama. These were adult consequences for adult choices. If my story is teaching you something valuable, please support Granny Stories by hitting the like button and subscribing to our channel. Friday morning, I reviewed my revised financial plan. The monthly payments I'd been making would now fund the European river cruise Richard and I had planned before his illness, the Italian cooking classes, the Irish photography workshop. My phone rang at 12:45. Bradley this time, his voice stripped of arrogance. Margaret, we need to talk like adults about resolving this situation. We've already talked. No, we need a real adult conversation about making this work. You mean how I can fix your problems? A lengthy pause. Yes, he admitted. That's exactly what I mean. At least he was finally honest. Come Sunday afternoon. Bring everyone, including the children. What should we prepare for? Reality, I said, ending the call. Outside my window, the first spring flowers pushed through the soil. Have you ever had to have a difficult conversation about money with family? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe. Monday morning, my friend Helen from the grocery store called, concerned. Margaret, I heard something troubling yesterday. Bradley was at Ali's restaurant telling people you cut off your family without warning. Said you're forcing the children out of private school because of some petty grievance. I set down my coffee cup deliberately. What exactly did he say? Called it financial abandonment of innocent grandchildren. Used lots of corporate jargon. Made it sound like you're punishing Olivia over something trivial. By Tuesday, Olivia had contacted Richard's brother, Uncle Jim, who called me that afternoon, his tone disapproving. Olivia says you've abandoned them when they most need help. She was crying, Margaret. The children don't understand why Grandma suddenly stopped loving them. Did she mention the $833,800 I've given them over 12 years? Prolonged silence. She what? Almost $1 million, Jim. Mortgage payments, car loans, insurance, tuition, medical expenses, vacations, every month for 12 years. That can't possibly be accurate. I have documentation proving every penny. If you believe in teaching valuable life lessons, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to Granny Stories for more of my wisdom. The next morning, Lily called, her small voice sounding rehearsed. Grandma, Mommy says we might lose our house because you don't want to help anymore. Did we do something really bad? My heart ached, but I kept my voice gentle. You didn't do anything wrong, sweetheart. Would you like me to pick you up for ice cream this afternoon? Mommy says you might say no to everything now. I never say no to ice cream with my favorite granddaughter. That afternoon at Sunny's ice cream shop, Lily's scripted sadness melted away as she enthusiastically described her science project. When I returned her home, Olivia watched from the window with calculating eyes. Wednesday brought direct confrontation. Linda Murphy, a longtime neighbor, approached me at the post office. Margaret Wilson, I'm ashamed of you, she announced loudly enough for several bystanders to hear. Cutting off your own daughter when she most needs you. What would Richard think? I responded calmly. Richard would consider 12 years and almost $1 million sufficiently generous. Linda's righteous indignation faltered. $1 million. $833,800 precisely. Mortgage assistance, car payments, tuition, insurance premiums, medical expenses, vacation funding. Would you like to review my financial records? Who do you think is in the right here? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you're enjoying my family drama, please subscribe to Granny Stories. Others collecting mail had paused to listen. Linda's expression shifted uncomfortably. Olivia never mentioned any of that. Olivia mentions very little about what she receives from me. Linda. Only what she wants others to hear. That evening, Helen called again. Bradley returned to Ollie's tonight attempting the same narrative, but Rick Thompson was present. Remember Rick? He sold them that luxury car 4 years ago. He asked how Bradley afforded a $55,000 vehicle on his salary. When Bradley began making excuses, Rick mentioned remembering you co-signing the lease documents. The restaurant became very quiet. Thursday morning brought a call from my former hospital colleague, Patricia. Heard interesting gossip at the coffee shop, but also heard your perspective from Helen. May I ask directly? Did you really support them continuously for 12 years? Every month since Richard died. They stopped expressing gratitude after the first few years. Last Christmas, Bradley delivered a speech about his hard work, providing for the family. Olivia posted photos of expensive gifts on social media with hashtags about blessed family success. Patricia whistled softly. That's incredibly cold, Margaret. Friday evening, while watering my front garden, Mrs. Garcia approached. Mrs. Wilson, my daughter overheard something at school pickup today. Parents discussing family drama. Some are questioning the narrative your son-in-law has been sharing around town. I continued tending my roses. People are entitled to their opinions. She also mentioned you've been extremely generous to those children over the years. I love my grandchildren deeply. Of course you do. That's never been questioned by anyone. If you've ever had to defend yourself against gossip, give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to Granny Stories for more of my real-life wisdom. Saturday morning, Olivia called, her voice high and desperate. People are asking uncomfortable questions, Mom. Questions about finances and timelines and banking records. You need to stop spreading these lies about us. I haven't spread anything, Olivia. I've simply answered honestly when directly asked. You're destroying our reputation in this community. I'm not destroying anything, sweetheart. I'm just no longer paying to maintain false appearances. The line went dead with an abrupt click. Sunday arrived with clear skies and the knowledge that by afternoon we'd be facing another family confrontation, this time with the community watching and listening. But the family meeting never materialized. By Monday morning, reality had interceded with its own plans. Helen called at 9:30 a.m. Margaret, I noticed a foreclosure notice posted on Olivia's front door yesterday evening. Official document from the county courthouse. I set my coffee down carefully. 30 days. They had 30 days to pay $9,125, 4 months of missed mortgage payments, plus penalties and legal fees. Tuesday morning brought visible changes. Bradley's luxury car had vanished from their driveway, replaced by an older gray Honda Civic. Mrs. Garcia mentioned seeing Bradley at the Honda dealership looking defeated while Olivia completed paperwork for a much more economical vehicle. The monthly savings must be substantial, she observed quietly. That luxury lease was probably costing nearly $900 monthly. Can money problems change people? What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments and subscribe for more of my thought-provoking stories. Wednesday afternoon, I visited the grocery store and discovered Olivia behind a checkout counter wearing a blue vest with a name tag, mechanically scanning purchases. When Mrs. Patterson entered her lane, Olivia's face flushed scarlet. Olivia dear, I didn't know you were working here now. Started Monday, Olivia replied softly, avoiding eye contact. Paper or plastic bag? Her shift ended at 7 p.m. I watched through the window as she walked to the aging Honda, shoulders slumped with exhaustion. That evening, Ethan called me. Grandma, Mom and Dad are fighting again, really loudly this time. What about, buddy? Money stuff. Dad said Mom's job doesn't pay enough. Mom said Dad never earned enough either. Then they said mean things about you. What kind of mean things? That you ruined everything on purpose. But then Mom started crying and said maybe they ruined it themselves. Thursday morning brought sounds of heated argument from their house during my morning walk. Through the thin walls, I caught fragments. 10 hours on my feet for almost nothing. Never appreciated what we had. Your pride created this disaster. 12 years of free handouts and now. The dispute ended abruptly with a door slamming and Bradley's Honda starting with an angry roar. If you're finding my story of accountability meaningful, please hit that like button and subscribe to Granny Stories for more powerful content. That afternoon, Lily visited me. Her usual cheerfulness had been replaced by obvious concern. Grandma, why is everything so different now? I settled her at my kitchen table with cookies and milk. What feels different to you, sweetheart? Mom's always tired and sad. Dad gets angry about everything. They talk about losing our house. Ethan heard them say we might have to change schools. How do you feel about all that? Scared, but also... She hesitated, looking down. Also, like maybe they should have said thank you more often. Out of the mouths of babes. Friday evening, I was reading in my office when the doorbell rang. Bradley stood on my porch alone. His typical business confidence had evaporated completely. His once crisp shirt was wrinkled, his tie loosened, his face showing unfamiliar exhaustion. Margaret, we need to talk. Just the two of us, adult to adult. I invited him into my living room. The same room where he had demanded I reinstate all payments 3 weeks earlier. He sat heavily, hands clasped tightly between his knees. The foreclosure is real. 30 days to produce the money. Olivia is working 45 hours weekly for $12.50 hourly. After taxes, that's maybe $1,200 monthly. I'm bringing home approximately $4,200 after taxes. The mortgage alone is $2,285. My story is building to an important conclusion. If you want to see how it ends, hit that subscribe button and notification bell right now. He looked up with something resembling humility. We can't make it work, Margaret. Not even close. We never could we? Without your assistance. No, I said quietly. You never could. I've been reflecting on something you said about earning respect versus expecting it. His voice cracked slightly. I never really earned anything, did I? The house, the vehicles, the children's education. None of it was truly mine through effort. What do you want from me, Bradley? I want to know if there's a path forward from this disaster. Not returning to previous arrangements, but progressing toward something better and more honest. Outside, streetlights began illuminating as darkness descended over our quiet neighborhood. Saturday afternoon, while organizing financial documents, my doorbell rang again. Olivia stood on my porch in her blue grocery store vest, face streaked with tears and profound fatigue. Mom, please. We need to discuss Ethan and Lily. She appeared completely transformed, diminished somehow. The entitled confidence I'd watched develop over 12 years had crumbled entirely, leaving behind the frightened daughter I remembered from Richard's funeral. If you've been following my story from the beginning, hit that like button to show your support. And subscribe for the conclusion. I invited her into my living room. She collapsed into the same chair Bradley had occupied the previous evening, hands trembling as she removed her workplace identification. 6 days, she whispered. 6 days until foreclosure completion. Ethan keeps asking if we're really losing our home. Lily had nightmares last night about moving somewhere unfamiliar. What do you want from me, Olivia? I want my children to have stability. I want them to complete the school year with their friends. I want Lily to sleep through the night without crying about leaving her bedroom. She looked up with eyes devoid of manipulation, only raw maternal fear. I've been working 45 hours weekly on my feet, scanning groceries for people who used to be social equals. Yesterday, Mrs. Rodriguez entered my checkout line and asked why I was employed there. I wanted to disappear from embarrassment, but you didn't hide. No. I smiled professionally and asked, paper or plastic? Because I finally understand what work means, what earning means, what you've been trying to teach us all along. She dabbed her eyes with a tissue from her purse. Bradley told me about your conversation last night. You asked if there was a way forward. There might be, but it would require significant changes from both of you. Tell me what you need. I leaned forward. I'll pay Ethan and Lily's tuition directly to Little Mountain Academy. I'll cover their clothing, medical expenses, activities, and establish college savings accounts for them. Olivia's expression brightened with the first hope I'd seen in weeks. Do you think I should help them? Tell me your opinion in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe. But I continued. I won't pay your mortgage, vehicle loans, insurance, or any adult lifestyle expenses. You and Bradley will live within your actual means. Period. We can manage that. We'll relocate to a smaller property, something genuinely affordable. There's more to my offer. I want public acknowledgement of the 12 years and $833,800 I've provided. I want sincere public apologies for the disrespect and entitlement. I want authentic gratitude, not just when you need something. Olivia's face crumpled. Bradley will never agree to public apologies. His pride wouldn't permit it. Then his pride exceeds his concern for his children's stability and security. We sat in silence while she processed this reality. What form of public acknowledgement do you require? A letter to the community news explaining how I've supported your family and expressing gratitude for my generosity. An honest social media post about 12 years of financial assistance. Face-to-face apologies to those you've misled recently. And if we comply entirely, my children will have educational security and their grandmother's love. You'll have a relationship with me based on honesty and mutual respect, but you'll also have a lifestyle constrained by what you and Bradley actually earn together. Olivia covered her face briefly. I don't know if I can convince him. You have 24 hours to decide. After that, my offer expires permanently. She rose slowly, her work vest wrinkled from her long day. At the door, she turned back. Mom, thank you for still caring about Ethan and Lily, even when you're disappointed with us. I never stopped caring about any of you, Olivia. I just stopped enabling poor decisions. If you believe in tough love, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to Granny Stories for more of my wisdom. After she departed in the aging Honda, I sat watching evening news. Somewhere across town, a difficult conversation was beginning. Olivia's Honda entered their driveway at 6:45 p.m. Through my neighbor Helen's later report, I learned precisely how the evening unfolded. Bradley was reheating leftover Chinese food when Olivia entered the kitchen, still wearing her grocery store uniform. He noticed her puffy eyes and exhausted demeanor. Where have you been? Your shift ended at 4 o'clock. I visited Mom. The microwave beeped in the silence that followed. Bradley removed the steaming container, placed it on the counter, and turned to face his wife directly. You went behind my back after everything we discussed about handling this together? We're out of time, Bradley. 6 days until foreclosure. The children are terrified. I had to attempt something. Olivia sank into a kitchen chair, removing her name tag with shaking fingers. She's willing to help, but with conditions. What conditions? She'll fund Ethan and Lily's education, clothing, activities, medical care. She'll establish college savings accounts for both. Bradley's expression brightened momentarily. That's excellent. When does she resume the mortgage payments? She doesn't. We must live within our actual income. His optimism vanished instantly. That's impossible, Olivia. Our expenses are excessive. She wants something else. Olivia's voice dropped nearly to a whisper. Public apologies. Recognition of the 12 years and $833,800 she supported us. If you think Bradley should swallow his pride, hit that like button and subscribe for the conclusion of my powerful story. Bradley's complexion shifted from pale to crimson. She wants me to humiliate myself publicly. Admit to being what, a charity case? Bradley, she invested nearly $1 million in us. $1 million? Do you comprehend what that means? It means she chose to help family. That's what mothers do. Olivia stood slowly, her uniform stained and wrinkled. No, that's what saints do. And we treated her like an ATM. From upstairs came Ethan's voice. Mom, Dad, why are you shouting again? Both parents paused, realizing their voices had escalated. Lily appeared at the staircase in pink pajamas, rubbing sleepy eyes. Are you fighting about Grandma again? Olivia ascended to comfort her daughter while Bradley paced the kitchen, hands clenched into fists. When Olivia returned 25 minutes later, she found him staring at the foreclosure notice. I won't do it, he stated without looking up. I won't stand before our neighbors and admit I'm a failure who couldn't provide for his family. Then what's your solution? Where will we live? Where will the children attend school? We'll devise something. Obtain a loan, file bankruptcy. Anything but crawling to your mother begging forgiveness for imaginary transgressions. Olivia retrieved her phone and opened the calculator application. Let's analyze this together. Our combined monthly income is $5,400. The mortgage is $2,285, leaving $3,115 for everything else. She continued entering figures. Honda payment, $280. Insurance, $220. Utilities, $250. Groceries, $500. Fuel, $180. That's $1,430, leaving $1,685. See, we can manage adequately. I haven't included the children's expenses. Ethan's baseball, $95 monthly. Lily's dance, $75. Both need school supplies, clothing, co-payments, birthday gifts, holiday presents. The conclusion is coming. Hit that subscribe button right now so you don't miss how my story ends. And give this video a thumbs up if you're enjoying Granny stories. Olivia's voice began breaking. Bradley, we cannot afford our children's basic necessities. Through the walls, Ethan called down. Mom, Lily's crying again. She says we'll be homeless. Olivia regarded her husband with eyes devoid of the entitled woman who had demanded her mother restore payments 3 weeks earlier. We have 18 hours to decide. Mom's offer expires tomorrow at noon. She went upstairs to console her children, leaving Bradley alone with a foreclosure notice and a calculator that couldn't reconcile their impossible financial situation regardless of how frequently he attempted. Monday morning at 11:30, the Honda entered my driveway carrying the entire family. Through my window, I observed Bradley exit the passenger's side with the defeated posture of someone who had spent the night contemplating impossible choices. Olivia knocked with Ethan and Lily beside her in their school uniforms. Bradley stood behind them, his business shirt wrinkled, eyes reddened from exhaustion. Mom, we need to accept your offer. All conditions. I invited them inside. The children sat on my sofa, while Olivia took the same chair from Saturday. Bradley remained standing, hands clasped behind his back like a soldier awaiting orders. The bank called this morning, Olivia continued. Foreclosure proceeds at 4 p.m. today unless we pay $9,125. We don't have it. Lily tugged my sleeve. Grandma, are we really losing our house? Not if I can help it, sweetheart. This is the moment of truth. Hit that like button if you think Bradley will finally admit his mistakes. Bradley cleared his throat. Margaret, I need to say something. He approached my mantel, examined the wedding photo of Richard and me, then turned to face his family. 12 years ago, you offered temporary assistance. I transformed that help into a permanent expectation without acknowledging your sacrifices. His voice faltered slightly. I told people our home improvements resulted from my professional success. I boasted about vehicles as if I'd earned them. I allowed Ethan and Lily to believe their grandmother was merely being generous rather than functioning as their actual provider. Olivia reached for Lily's small hand. Mom, I owe apologies too. I treated your generosity like inheritance, something deserved rather than freely given. You paid our mortgage for 12 years, Bradley added. $316,800. You funded our car loans, insurance, education, medical care, vacations, holidays, celebrations, activities. Ethan looked up with wide eyes. Grandma paid for my baseball? Grandma paid for everything, Olivia said softly. Almost $1 million over 12 years. Lily's small voice pierced the solemn atmosphere. Why didn't you tell us? Olivia's face flushed with shame. Because we were embarrassed, not of Grandma's help, but of pretending we didn't need it. If my story has taught you something about gratitude, please hit that like button and subscribe to Granny's Stories. I leaned forward. If I help preserve your home today, everything changes. I'll pay Ethan and Lily's tuition directly to Little Mountain Academy. I'll cover their medical care, clothing, activities, and college savings. But I won't fund your mortgage, vehicles, or adult expenses. You'll live within your actual means. Bradley nodded slowly, as if his head carried great weight. We understand completely. There's more. I require public acknowledgement. A letter to the community news thanking me for 12 years of support. Social media posts expressing genuine gratitude. Face-to-face apologies to neighbors you've misled. When must this be completed? Bradley asked. This week before Saturday. Bradley's jaw tightened, but he nodded again. What else? Monthly family dinners here, not to monitor your finances, but to maintain proper relationships. To remember that family means respect, not entitlement. I approached my desk and retrieved my checkbook. I'll contact First National Bank and arrange an emergency payment, but this is the final house payment I'll ever make for you. After today, you succeed or fail based solely on your own income. As I lifted the phone, I heard Lily whisper to her mother, "Are we going to be okay now?" Olivia's voice was soft but certain. "Yes, sweetheart. We're going to be just fine." For the first time in 12 years, I believed she was absolutely right. We're almost at the end of my story. If you've enjoyed this journey, please show your support with a like and subscribe to Granny's Stories. 4 months later, on the fourth Saturday of October, they arrived for our monthly family gathering precisely at 3 p.m. Olivia had been promoted to assistant manager at the grocery store, earning $17.25 hourly. Bradley had learned to balance their budget without expecting financial miracles. "Grandma," Lily bounded through my door in her soccer uniform, grass stains on her knees and a medal around her neck. "Look what I won at the tournament." "That's wonderful, sweetheart. Tell me about your winning goal." While Lily enthusiastically described her athletic achievements, Ethan showed me his report card. Straight A's with a note from his teacher praising his improved attitude and confidence. Olivia placed a manila folder on my coffee table. "Mom, here's this month's budget review. We're covering the mortgage, utilities, groceries, and car payment entirely from our combined salaries. We've even established a small emergency savings account." Bradley, who 4 months earlier couldn't meet my gaze, now joined our conversation with genuine respect. "Margaret, I'd appreciate your perspective on a potential promotion opportunity. The regional manager position might become available next quarter. It involves more responsibility and better compensation, but also occasional travel. I wanted to ensure Olivia and I could manage the children's schedules if I'm away periodically." I opened my own folder, organized with characteristic precision. Ethan's soccer league fee paid directly to Colorado Youth Sports. Lily's piano lessons arranged through Mountain Music Academy. Both children's dental examinations scheduled next month, covered under my family insurance plan. If you believe in second chances, give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to Granny Stories for more of my heartwarming content. Olivia smiled with a sincerity I hadn't witnessed in years. "Mom, I can't express sufficient gratitude for maintaining their stability while we learned to become responsible adults." Speaking of responsibility, Bradley added, "We completed the community service hours Judge Martinez assigned following our public apology letters. Volunteering at the homeless shelter was genuinely enlightening. We encountered families truly struggling, not merely living beyond their means as we were." Lily tugged my sleeve. "Grandma, can we show you the thank you cards we made at school?" Both children presented construction paper cards decorated with glitter and heartfelt messages. Ethan's read, "Thank you for caring for us, even when Mom and Dad forgot to say please." Lily's was simpler but perfect. "I love you, Grandma. You're the best." These weren't coach sentiments or guilt-motivated apologies. These were authentic feelings from children who finally understood what love and security truly represented. "There's something else," Olivia said quietly. "Bradley and I have been discussing eventually purchasing a smaller home, something genuinely affordable on our income. Not immediately, but perhaps in 3 years after building substantial savings." "That sounds like excellent planning." Bradley nodded with dignified pride. "We want to demonstrate we can stand independently, not because we don't appreciate your assistance with the children, but because we need to respect what you've already provided." As the afternoon concluded, Ethan asked the question that perfectly summarized everything. "Grandma, are you proud of us now?" I surveyed my living room. My daughter who had learned the genuine value of work, my son-in-law who had subordinated his pride for his children's welfare, and my grandchildren who finally comprehended gratitude. "Yes, Ethan, I'm extremely proud of all of you. If my story touched your heart, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. And don't forget to subscribe to Granny Stories for more powerful life lessons. They departed as sunset approached, Lily's hand in mine as I accompanied them to their car, the same Honda that had replaced the luxury vehicle. Somehow it appeared less like a downgrade and more like a choice made with wisdom. Watching their taillights vanish down my street, I realized Richard would have been proud too. Not of the money I'd invested or the control I'd finally asserted, but of the family we'd become when respect replaced entitlement and love replaced exploitation. The retribution I'd sought wasn't punishment at all. It was transformation. And sometimes that's the sweetest justice possible. If you enjoyed my story from Granny Stories, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and share your thoughts in the comments below. To listen to my next story, click on the video that appears on your screen. Thank you for watching.